Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the November 18th Sumter City Council meeting. Appreciate everyone coming out tonight. We start all of our meetings with an invocation and a pledge of allegiance. Tonight will be led by Councilwoman Kennedy. All that are able, please rise.
Our gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this time together, for the leadership, for the ability to serve on City Council. We ask over this holiday season, Lord, please watch over the entire world. We ask that you bless each family and touch each one. Give us the strength to enjoy the holiday season. A special thanks to our staff that has worked so hard to make our holiday season here in Sumter a blessing to see, and we ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. We have our November 4th regular meeting minutes in our packets. If any changes need to be made, or is there a motion to approve as written?
Second.
Casey moves, Gibson seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the minutes from November 4th are approved unanimous. Before we get into our main business, we have two special presentations. But also, before we get into our special presentation, let me do mention, point of note, we have 4 public hearings tonight that will start at 6 o'clock. So wherever we are in our agenda, we'll have to do a stop for 6 o'clock. Public hearings are different than our public comment section, but we'll go back to wherever we are, only wherever we left off, and pick back up on that for that. So we have two special presentations tonight, both exciting, both really great news for Sumter and some great information for Sumter. But also, I guess, called Glenn Button. Glenn, who you got with you? You got Danielle? Anybody?
Got Sarah Lyles here with me from
Sarah Lyles, and then some folks. This is a first, isn't it?
This is the first.
Yeah.
For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Glenn Buds, and I'm the litter control officer for the city. And the other day, I got wind of on a newsletter that we had a student here in Sumter that got awarded the Youth Ambassador at the time of the prize. I think it's only 12 that got it through the state, right, Sarah? And I just thought that was outstanding. And he has done cleanups for me before, so he's already been in the community. So we just want to recognize him tonight to City Council, but I'm gonna let Sarah Lyles kind of give you a brief thing on what this is all about. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Sarah Lyles with Palmetto Pride. First I want to say thank you to the city for sponsoring and supporting the litter control program here with Glenn. I got to tell you, we've got people from around the state wanting to know about the tire buyback program and the youth litter crew. So really good things happening, and it's thank you for supporting those efforts. So the Youth Ambassador Award, Youth Ambassador Program, it's not an award. It started with Keep Texas Beautiful created their Youth Ambassador Council, and then Pennsylvania's created theirs, and a couple of years ago, Palmetto Pride and stuff, and we're like, we should try this too. And I came back, and I'm great with ideas, not always like how it's going to work. So we had it was going to be teacher nominated, which teachers have enough to do, so it's a little difficult to get students. So we had 2 nominations for the past 2 years, and then I gave the program to Hannah Feely, our communications program manager, and she made it self-nominating. And I got to tell you, we had 97 students. Really, I would call this our first thing because of this program. So 97 students nominated themselves. So we selected 10 out of those. That's what we have in our budget, and the 2 to make out the 12 are previous year's winners that are going to stick around and sort of act as a mentor. But the Youth Ambassador Program, it really we wanted to recognize students doing things, but also create sort of a leadership program. So in order to qualify and to be selected, you have to do litter pickups, but we also ask that you make some presentation, whether it's the city or county council or your school, somewhere in the public space, so that you can help educate others on the effects of litter in your communities. And we will, they're gonna get together on Zoom meetings throughout the year. We are working with the legislature to get some sort of day at the State House where they'll learn about government and how things work at the state level. We're just really excited, very proud of this year. They will also meet via Zoom with students from other states. So joining Texas and Pennsylvania is also Florida and Virginia. So we're one of 5 states that have this program. And so we just think it's a great opportunity for our students to really, take that leadership role in litter prevention, because they really are the generation of the future that's going to help us, change things. And so I just wanted to be here and say congratulations to Ethan and to Sumter and Glenn for getting this program going for y'all.
Well, good. I'll come down too. I think Glenn's got something. I got something. So.
Yeah, we got something for you, Ethan, from the city.
Oh, he also gets a $1,000 scholarship.
All right.
We got a certificate of recognition for you.
Appreciate you.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. No, you got a certificate and just a city coin in a nice box. It's really just a memento, just to remember where you came from and what you do wherever you go. Hope you stay here or come back here and keep preaching that. Because what is it? Gamecocks?
Learners today.
Learners today? Gamecocks forever. So yeah, that's right. And look at
Sarah, you wanna come on in there?
yeah, come on in. Yep.
Danielle, you wanna come in there?
Come on in. Yeah. You're good. Again, congratulations. So, staff was telling, just real quick, staff was telling us a story, unfortunate story about litter, and I mean, it's frustrating, right? Everybody, most everybody probably here is helping in our community because we care about our community, pick up litter. It's frustrating because you do it, but we have to keep doing it, keep beating that drum. A staff member was going to pick up a pizza a few years ago, and was walking by a car and saw a family eating in the car, eating pizza in the car. I thought that was strange, but whatever. And heard the child say, "Mom, I'm done. What do I do with this trash?" He says, "Just throw it out. They'll get it." Right? So that's the wrong kind of thing. So it's folks like you that can help change that. As a young man and a young leader, you can change that. They'll get it. So no, that's our responsibility to help keep our community clean. So anyway, those are the challenges that we constantly face with litter. And we appreciate what our litter agents and our from the city and the county working together. But changing that mindset, they'll get it. That it's somebody else's problem. It's all of our problem. And I appreciate you getting in there and helping us. So we appreciate everybody. Thanks for coming. Yeah. So now we've got, continuing with some good news and good information. We've got it's Native American Heritage Month. I was able to read that proclamation right before, right at 5 o'clock. And we've got Chief and Vice Chief, or I guess who's presenting today? So Chief Linehan and Chief Linehan. Gotcha. Yeah, y'all come give us an update on the Sumter Tribe, Sherall Indians.
I'm Chief Francis Linehan, Vice Chief Tammy Ray Stevens, Council Member Pamela Holland, and Council Member Mike Elan, and Joshua Schumack. He is the Program Coordinator for the South Carolina Commission for Minority Affairs.
I'm Rob Collins. I'm a genealogist for the tribe. I'm going to give you guys a brief history of our tribe. We've been around for a while. We were first met with Europeans in the year 1540 by Hernando de Soto, who was in Florida. We were later rediscovered by an Englishman named John Lederer the same year that Charleston was founded. He came and marched in the same area that de Soto had been in Sumter, right by the Wateree River here in Sumter. In 1715, we had fought many wars, but in 1715 we decided to fight a war against Charleston, and we lost. We joined the Yamasee from Florida and lost, and that didn't help us too much. In 1767, General Thomas Sumter settled in our area. He was a friend of the Indians, he was a friend of Cherokee, he was a friend of the Chirac. Our ancestors fought with him in the Revolutionary War. He rewarded us with some land. He wrote letters to get us pensions in the Revolutionary War, which are filed with the federal government. In 1810, we numbered about 83 souls, so of about 6 families. In 2013, the state of South Carolina officially recognized us as an Indian tribe. And in 2025, we were among many founding members of the Tribal Alliance of South Carolina Nations, which we participated with today to work with the state and the other tribes to help our people and the communities that we live in.
We would like your support. We're currently supported by the state. We're officially recognized by the governor, other tribes of South Carolina, the South Carolina Tribal Alliance of South Carolina Nations, other tribes in the country. We want cooperation with the city, issues on conservation, historical markers, city celebrations, tourism, elderly care, women rights, children care. How can the city of Sumter help us? They can be aware that we exist and have a long history in Sumter, help identify anthropologists and archaeologists for research, help educate citizens of our history, provide temporary and or permanent real estate, event space, food bank storage, empty lots or abandoned buildings, such as old fire stations or community centers. We need office space or donated vehicles. At this time, I'd like to present Joshua Shumack, Program Coordinator with the South Carolina Commission for Minority Affairs, to say a few words.
Hello everyone, thank you Mayor Motion and fellow city council members. As mentioned, I'm Joshua Shumack with the South Carolina Commission for Community Advancement and Engagement, formerly the South Carolina Commission for Minority Affairs, and I serve as the Community Engagement Specialist as well as the Tribal Liaison for the state of South Carolina. So I work with all of the tribes in South Carolina, both state and federally recognized, as well as the federally recognized tribes outside the state that do consultations with us. So right now, Sumter Tribal Chirac Indian is among many tribes across the state that are being worked with towards development. I know there's a lot of talk, we've talked with many state legislators, federal legislators, and they're even up for possibly a federal bill for recognition on the federal level. And one of the things that is looked for in that case is a community center. It's one of the requirements that is required by the Senate Indian Affairs Committee, and it's also a requirement for a lot of other programs that they are applicable for right now. Currently, we have a lot of funding going from the state of South Carolina. We have about a $500,000 grant at the state level. We have many other state offices, including the Department of Tourism, state parks. We have the South Carolina Land Bank saying that one of their initiatives is to provide and help provide land for tribal purposes, and they will match any donation to be able to provide these lands for these purposes. And does anyone know who Rihanna is? Yes, the singer Rihanna, I know, was able to become a Mayor Merchant. Many of you know she has her Clara Lionel Foundation, which invests millions of dollars into Barbados. She had actually done her first consultation of donation in the United States. She had chosen South Carolina, and there are only 10 cities eligible. Your city is one of them. They have chosen to work with the Native American people and the tribes specifically. And so they're trying to do $5 million worth of investment into the state over the next 5 years. And one of the things that are required for these tribes to access these grants is a community center that they can work the rebranding program out of. So right now there's a lot of eyes both on the Senate and House level, both federally and state, as well as many agencies that are looking to get this done and see how it's possible. So we really want to be partners in this to see how we can make this happen. We have a lot of different people at the table. The conservation voters of South Carolina are saying this is going to be one of their focuses for the foreseeable future. And so we really want to see how we can work together to move the needle and to move the city of Sumter forward, move the Sumter Tribe of Chirac Indians forward as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again. Rob, thanks. Rob is a genealogist, historian, I guess, right? Came all the way from Oregon or Washington?
Washington State.
Washington State. Well, glad you came in.
Way up by Canada.
Yeah, so, that's great. That ends our special presentations. We'll get into our old business, but before I do that, I just saw a few slip in, so I gotta mention that too. We have emerging leaders here. There's Eric right there. So how many we got? Raise your hand if you're emerging leaders. So we appreciate you coming. I know me and the Chairman McCain was able to talk with that group as a whole, and part of the requirements of that program is to come to a city or county or both council meeting. So we're glad you're here tonight. Pick a good one to come to. All right, old business. Boards and commissions, we do have quite a few vacancies. Mentioned last meeting about an executive session, potentially this meeting to work some of these out before the end of the year. So we do have quite a few that are filled. We've got some recommendations and some others that we can discuss a little bit later in executive session. That's the pleasure of council. Anything else to mention in open session regarding boards and commissions? Hearing none, we move into item number 6. OA 2506, special event facilities.
Just a second. As you'll recall, 2 council meetings ago, I requested that we defer action on this so I could make some modifications to the language after having some conversations prior to the public hearing. So this is a special events facility text amendment. It's targeted to modify the definition of special events facilities and transition them from being conditional uses to special exceptions. Our current definition of a special events facility is a commercial facility rented to individuals, groups, or organizations to host gatherings such as, but not limited to, weddings, receptions, meetings, galas, networking events, and conferences. They cater to a significant diversity of individuals, groups, and organizations on a contractual basis, with those individual groups or organizations holding unique events on an irregular basis only. Such individuals, groups, and organizations contracting to rent the facility may provide alcoholic beverages for guests in accordance with state law. Special events facilities were not intended for space to hold nightclub-type events to the general public, and this is really where this amendment's coming out of. This isn't really a new topic of discussion for the city. In 2001, we actually made special events facilities a conditional use. This was right around the time the state changed the legal licensing laws for drinking places and changing liability insurance requirements, which pushed a lot of people out of the liquor by the drink licensing game, and they started to come in with special events facility applications as a way to go around that process. We saw that as an issue in both the city and the county, which is where that requirement to kind of make it a conditional use came from. So we do have some special events facilities that at times do conduct site activities that are in alignment with the description of a nightclub, which does result in increased enforcement attention from multiple city departments. We have seen an uptick in special events facility inquiries for sites that really aren't appropriate for the use, and we believe that this proposed amendment would make establishing a venue subject to more robust review and public hearing processes, as well as site and operational requirements aimed at mitigating those external impacts. We do have several that are currently legally operating inside the city that have gone through the prior either special events conditional use process, or they even predate that. These are the ones based on business licensing that are currently legally licensed as special events facilities. The text amendment would actually make it a special exception in limited commercial, general commercial, the central business district, and light industrial warehouse. It would remove it from the AC district, and all other districts they would not be allowed. These are currently the districts where they're allowed as conditional uses. We would just make them special exceptions. For those of you that aren't familiar, special exceptions actually go through a public hearing process at the Board of Zoning Appeals. So the proposed amendment, it's not changed from what we previously looked at, except that we're making those special exceptions in those districts as opposed to conditional uses. And then this would be the new language. Originally, when I was before you 2 meetings ago, we were looking at a separation standard. We do believe after further consideration of separation criteria, just eliminate that from the proposed special exception standards. Let's just take it through the public hearing process. We would add in a requirement for screening between them and adjacent residential uses. They would have an on-site manager. This is actually a current requirement. We are not looking at amending the parking standards right now after further consideration. they're gonna be unchanged. We're gonna address that as part of the Unified Development Ordinance. It's currently under development. In the new UDO, we actually have alternative parking plan accommodations that allow us to make some contractual parking changes that we don't have as a mechanism in our ordinance today. So instead of trying to rewrite whole sections of code to make that a possibility right now, we think we just stay where we're at with our current parking standards for special events facilities. We will be looking at establishing hours of operation for special events facilities operating between the hours of 6 a.m. and 11 p.m. That would not include setup or cleanup activities by the staff. With this new language from the previous hearing, we would look at them as permitted to operate past 11 p.m. on December 31st. However, all clientele shall be off the premises not later than 2 a.m. on January 1st. This is additional language. Look, New Year's happens at midnight. People do have New Year's parties at event facilities. It makes sense to allow them to continue to operate at least until 2 o'clock in the morning, at least one night a year. There's a new requirement for liability insurance requirements, a new requirement for disclosure of on-premise sale and consumption of alcohol. It does also include who the responsible party would be, securing the necessary Department of Revenue licensing and the type of licensing that's being sought. The state of South Carolina has pretty complex regulations about how liquor by the drink can be sold and how alcohol can be sold at unlicensed event facilities. We just want it very clear to understand from that proper business owner how they're intending to have alcohol on the premises. Whether it's going to be as an event facility, they're going to have a permanent on-premise consumption license, or they're going to pursue liquor by the drink licenses on a per event basis. And then adding new language for compliance inspections, meaning that within 24 hours notice to that business owner, fire, building, public safety officials could schedule an appointment to come in and check and make sure life safety issues are currently being addressed. The operational plan requirements unchanged from the current code, but that would carry forward, where we still get a parking plan, access, structure, etc. How are they gonna deal with solid waste management? Who's gonna be the responsible party that's working on site during the event, so that if we have to get a hold of somebody, we can. An anticipated number of annual events, just to have an idea of how they're planning to operate, and the types of events anticipated and marketed. This is unchanged language, this is already in the ordinance. And then, like I said, we won't be making any amendments to Article 8, so that language is being struck. It will be unchanged from where it is. And then amending the definition of special events facilities in Article 10B1 to add the final sentence that you see there underlined in orange. Land uses better described under the definitions for bottle clubs, nightclubs, or drinking places are not special events facilities. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. Those are the changes that came out of the pause and what we were looking at doing. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. This is a pared back version of what went to public hearing at the last public hearing meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions for Ms. Rubin? Yes, sir.
Helen, so the latest these special events can take place is 11 o'clock at night?
If this language is adopted for a special events facility, the hours of operation would be 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Except for on New Year's.
Any other questions?
James, 11 p.m.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Hearing no questions, would council like to consider first reading?
So moved.
Kennedy moves, Shaw seconds. That we consider first reading as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And first reading carries unanimous. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Yes, item number 7, new business and procurement resolutions. It's got, Michael, you got most of them? All of them? Yeah.
Mayor, members of the council, this first one is professional services for US 15 South Pump Station. We've received 12 proposals through an RFQ process. This is a design services to replace an existing pump station that's adjacent to Edisto Gas, if you're familiar with that on 15 South. So this would take the existing pump station out of service. We replace it with a new one, put the new one in, and then move the other one out of service. So, this is through an EDA grant, Economic Development Grant, and we do recommend moving forward with contract with, Bolton and Neek for a total cost of design of $181,008. Be glad to answer any questions you have on that.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Gator?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Michael, now, this is the grant, will this cost us, the city, any money? to
It
put this?
will, it's typical of most of the grants that we do, there's a portion of it that's ours. It's not a percentage based like most of them are, they have their set, amount. It'll end up costing us this, plus maybe another $30,000-$40,000, depending on the total cost of the project. But it's a match part of the grant, which the design services would come out of that match portion.
I was reading something about if something goes wrong, how does the responsibility, divide? You call that?
No, sir.
Let me come back to this, Mayor.
That's fine. This is for professional services?
Correct,
The
that's
design of the pump
That's
station.
correct.
It's not construction.
Correct, typically, we don't, professional services are exempt from procurement, but because it's part of the EDA grant, we did do the RFQ package for this particular one, and select this design, engineer.
And several people voted on this.
Correct, that's right, it's a panel of city employees, that goes through and scores each proposal, and these were the highest scored firm out of that package.
Thank you, Mike.
You good?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments for Mike? Hearing none, is there a motion to consider resolution 1013?
Move for approval.
Casey moves, Mayor Pro Tem last, seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And 1013 carries unanimous. 1014.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this next request is for the site work portion of the Sister Wembley Playground at Swan Lake. This is really broken into two. This one, the next procurement resolution, there's a picture of it there on the board. So this is the flat work, the concrete, the grading, the preparation of flower beds, landscaping, brickwork, fence work, as a portion of the project. We received 3 bids on November 4th, sealed bids at Public Services. The lowest qualified bidder was 3D Dirt Works out of Sumter with a base bid of $1,585,750. And we do recommend going under contract with 3D Dirt Works for this project. Be glad to answer any questions you have.
Yes, sir. Any questions for Mr. Gator? Michael, that navy blue, I guess, and then red is the fire truck, right?
Correct.
Is it moving or is it rotating or?
It's rotating, and it's also will add fall protection, which we've never really had before. So it'll be a designated spot for it. There'll be also ADA accessible. The whole playground will be ADA accessible with a poured surface. So you see the blue, the green. Some of that is just different colored surfacing, not water. There's no water in the playground. And that where the fire truck is would be a designated spot where that fire truck sits permanently there in the playground.
How long's it been there? You know, Darren, you know, fire truck? Anybody live? I don't know.
All I know is when it's gone for repair, you hear about it.
Yeah.
So full disclosure, in a short while, it will be moved just on the opposite side, just past this green area, while the construction is going, but have no fear, it's going right back here.
Councilman Shaw, you remember?
I do remember when it was put there, and I think about 60 years ago.
Oh, wow. And I think your father-in-law?
My father-in-law reworked it about 15 years ago.
Yeah, how about that? Anyway, for those visitors in the audience, it's an integral part of that playground. So I've gotten us off topic, I apologize for that. Any other questions or on 1014? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Excuse me, is there a motion to consider 1014 as presented?
So moved.
Kennedy moves, Davis seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And it carries unanimously. 1015.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is the second piece of this Sister Wembley Playground. This is for the playground equipment itself. We did a separate procurement process so that we could design the playground around the equipment and selected that through an RFQ process. And so that was why it's a separate contract. We did a request for proposal. We received 7 submittals, similar to the design service we talked earlier. A panel scored each one. The highest scoring firm was Great Southern Recreation, and they provided a final proposal of $1,400,846.92. And we do recommend moving under contract with this firm, and be glad to answer any questions you have.
Thanks, sir. Any questions for Michael regarding this?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I received a call this past week by a local person that had connections, with the company, and they felt like they didn't have a chance to bid on it, so we looked into it. It sounded really odd. Turns out it was an out-of-state company, and this was advertised under South Carolina Business Opportunities. We call it SCIBO, and that's like the best place to do. So, we did make a connection, and we offered, we'd love to have 8 bidders next time, so, but just wanna let you know that this is bid out through SCIBO for everybody to see. And it's good to make that connection, and hopefully we'll have some more bidders in the near future for the next project.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I would follow, Great Southern, what's his name?
Recreation, Great Southern Recreation.
Where are they from?
They're from Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Any other questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to consider 1015 as presented?
Make the motion.
Second.
Shaw moves, Hasty seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? And 1015 carries unanimous. It is 6:01, Mr. Gaines, I'm gonna have to pause you for a minute while we go to our public hearing. Read the guidelines for our public hearings. City of Sumter guidelines for public hearings. Planning staff will present a request. Council members can then question staff. An applicant can speak on behalf of the request, and council can question the applicant. Any city residents in favor of the request may address council. Any city residents opposed to the request may address council. If you're a city resident or have a financial interest in the property under discussion, you may speak. That's the difference between a public hearing and public comments. Each person meeting these requirements will speak and give an opportunity to do so. However, should you become repetitious, we reserve the right to call time. A decision may or may not be made at this meeting. However, a decision will be made at a public meeting. Once the public hearing is declared closed, there'll be no additional comments from the audience unless called on by council. So our first one is Community Development Block Grant. We do it every year. We've got Clarence and Larry. I got a few things I'll read. Hope we may overlap a little bit. Clarence, you can clean it up, but just CDBG program for the city of Sumter started in 1994 when we became an entitlement city. The year runs from April 1st to March 31st. When we first started receiving these funds in this status, we were getting in excess of $600,000 supporting programs for low to moderate income residents. All federal guidelines governing how CDBG funds may be used are set by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, not by City Council or our staff. And unfortunately, for 2025-26 fiscal year, the city has received $333,755, unless something's changed, Mr. Gaines, I don't know, but unless they just decide to send you more money or give you more money, but I don't know. You can pick up from there. Tell us what some of the public has said at the outreach meetings and some other things that we've done in the past.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. As the Mayor stated, the purpose of the public hearing is to give citizens an opportunity tonight, again, to give their input for the way in which they want to see the city spend CDBG money, the Community Development Block Grant funds for the upcoming fiscal year, April the 1st, 2026 to March 31st, 2027. Projected amount for the upcoming year is what we got this year, $333,755. We must at least meet one of the objectives when using these funds. Must be benefiting low moderate income neighborhood, with 51% of the inhabitants in the neighborhood are considered low to moderate income individuals. Aiding in the prevention of elimination of slum and blight, on an area basis, addressing slum and blight in the urban renewal area, meeting community development needs having a particular urgency. This is, basically how the funds we used last year. We completed 5 low income homeowners plumbing improvement repairs. It could be water lines, it could be sewer or whatever. But we benefited 5 low income families. Historic renovations, we did 2 facade grants with local businesses downtown, facades. Housing repair, the staff, we contracted out 7 owner-occupied homes for repair. United Ministry Housing Repair, they did 10 occupied homes, minor repairs. We hired 61 youth during the summer, 35 co-op program, 14, 15-year-old kids, and 26 were for the 16 and above kids that work with local businesses. We pay half the salary and the business pay the other half the salary. The funds we gave to YMCA allowed 16 low income youth to receive a variety of service provided by the YMCA. The funds we provided to the hike program, it allowed 115 students to go on a summer camp trip to Neptune Water Park in Hospital, South Carolina, and funding to purchase 115 backpacks and school supplies for upcoming school year. The demolition program, funds we provided for that, we was able to demolish 9 structures. That's what we did last year. I'm here tonight to answer any questions concerning what we did last year and receive any input of what the public might want to see us do with the funds next year.
Thank you, sir. So, public hearing, a little different than this one, but so just like now, we get to the time where the public can address council, offering any suggestions, what Mr. Gaines said. We'd like to speak on what any of these funds could be used for. Anyone like to come and speak and offer any suggestions? Yes, ma'am, if you'll come to the podium. Name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, my name is Elaine Brunson and my address is 301 South Main Street. First, I just wanted to thank Mr. Merchant and the city for allowing me to serve on the Community Development Housing Board. Also, working with Mr. Clarence Gaines has been an amazing opportunity. I think the program is operating right now amazing as far as helping with curbing dilapidation and blight, and also helping seniors and handicapped and low-income citizens get funding to redevelop their property. If I could make any changes or see any changes in how the funding is used, as Mr. Gaines said, we currently use some of the money for the facade grants. And so currently, the facade grants are being used downtown, and it stops around Bartlett Street. And so, as we know, if you go further down South Main, even over the bridge, that's a heavily low-income community. And so, being that these funds are for the low-income community, I just wish there was a way that we could somehow allow the businesses on the end of town that perhaps needed a little more, because that area is not as developed. If there was a way funding could be shared past Bartlett, even across Mannon Avenue Bridge, I think that would be amazing, because the community, I'm sure, could agree that South Sumter, the South Sumter side of Main Street, those businesses need some assistance with their facades. But like I said, I do thank you all for allowing me to serve on the Community Development Housing Board, and I do thank Mr. Clarence Gaines for the help that he's been able to give to senior citizens and low-income residential community members, excuse me.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Anyone else like to speak on CDBG funds? Last call, anyone like to speak on how the CDBG funds are used? Hearing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Just, Mr. Gaines, just, and staff, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just trying to think, are the facade grants dictated by the federal government for the historic area, or what is it called? Not historic, it's central business district?
It can be for the historic area, it could be for the business district, but that's our policy, it's always been business district. And what we usually allocate is about like $10,000,
Okay.
and that's for every 5 years. So it's not a lot, but that's what we usually do, about $10,000, take about 5 years to spend it.
Gotcha, thank you, sir.
Clarence,
Mayor Clarence.
Clarence, one question. You told us what you did with the money last year. I know your staff went around to all the different communities getting that information. Do you have a list of that information? Are you gonna share that with us at some point?
Well, I was out for the last 3 months.
I know.
It's back.
It's
in your packet.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, sir, Mr. Goose.
Yes, so I spoke with Darren the other day about the area behind Morris College. I hate to be the same drummer. We have a lot of seniors over there who are on fixed income. Can we get some people over there to look at the roofs and the flooring and heating over there for some of our seniors? Is that possible?
What we normally do, sir, Councilman, what we normally do when we have the community meetings, we go up on the north side and we explain to them procedure, what they need to do if they need repairs and stuff like that. Our office, they contact us, give them our phone numbers and everything like that. And we'll be willing to, add them to our list, just like, anybody else. But we have to, they have to, follow the rules and guidelines. And usually, when an older person, their kids or something, grandkids will come and pick up the application and stuff like that. We're talking through it and stuff like that.
So when you went to the north side, did you get any feedback from anybody?
We got feedback. We get feedback, and normally if you look at the feedback, it's the same thing, basically demolition, rehab, and like I said, we instruct them how they need, if they need repairs, what they need to do, plumbing repairs, rehab for the whole house, we tell them, this is what you need to do. And when we can't get to them, we don't have funds, we redirect them to other agencies that do it. Like Mark do a lot for us, like minor repairs,
Yeah.
United Ministry, they do a lot of stuff like that. So like roof and floor, stuff like that, if they come to us, let us know.
Okay.
We give them the work.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Gaines?
Clarence, every year, we ask about it, we hear about, mobile homes and roofs and things like that. I know you don't do that kind of work, but does United Ministry, do they help other folks with mobile homes?
As far as mobile home, Sumter County, CEC, Gwen Resource Center,
Yeah,
they get state funds. They can do the roof, and I think as long as it's not more than 30 years old.
okay.
But in most cases, people that come to me and come to Gwen, they way over than 30 years old.
So they're out in the cone.
The people that we get the funds from determine how we use it. If they say 30 is the cutoff, they ain't gonna be no funds, unless over 30.
And there's no other agency in the city that can help people with roofs. United Ministry.
Mark do roof, but he's more like house roof.
Yeah.
Sometimes he might do, mobile homes, but specialize in regular, houses.
Okay. Thank you, Clarence.
Thank you, Clarence. Thank you. Appreciate it. Public hearing number 2, RZ 25-18, 100 East Liberty. Ms. Ruby.
Good evening. RZ 2518 at 100 East Liberty Street is being brought forward by FCETV as the authorized agent. This is a request to rezone 3 properties at about 1.28 acres from general commercial to central business district. It is at the corner of East Liberty and South Harbin Street. Those of you that have driven up and down Liberty lately might recognize it as the place that has recently had the old gas station torn down, or is in the process of having it torn down. This is what it looked like prior to the demolition work that's been taking place. As you'll see, it is currently zoned a general commercial. It is across the street from the central business district. The request is coming forward in order to facilitate the development of a new broadcast studio with a development layout that's consistent with the property that's in the central business district. We'd like to take advantage of the historic reduced setbacks and building placements near the street. The general commercial zoning district is really a more suburban development district, which doesn't allow development that's consistent with the central business district. This is not new to see a rezoning CBD. We've done a couple of them over the last 10 years. The most recent one would be the property where the museum is doing their expansion across from Toomey on Washington Street. So this rezoning is required in order to accommodate the desired plans for site redevelopment. This is what it looked like before. It doesn't look like that anymore. It's kind of vacant now. But when we look at rezoning requests, we look at what the land use plan designation says, and in this instance, it's actually in our downtown planning area, where we look at creating a vibrant 24-hour kind of amenities-oriented place in the central core of the community. We have a focus on design and flexible urban core in this area, so it really does make sense to try and rezone this property to central business district. It is definitely compatible with the plan, given that it is in our historic downtown development area. It just happens to be across the street from where we designated central business district back in 1999. Planning Commission does recommend approval of this request. It is in alignment with the 2040 comprehensive plan, and the request is in alignment with the central business district recommendations from the 2019 downtown master plan. For those of you that may not be familiar, the downtown master plan did actually recommend that we look at expanding the central business district so that we can take more advantage beyond that small area that was CBD at the beginning of 2019. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions for Helen? Any questions? Thank you, ma'am. Would the applicant like to speak on behalf of the request? ETV, you like to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Craig Ness, and I'm the Director of Content Operations at ETV Sumter, and we're very excited about this. It's been a very long process, as Darren and Howie know, and the Mayor, but we're just really excited to see this finally start to happen.
That's good. So demo started, is there a rough timeline? I mean, will it continue on?
I'll defer to Mark.
Mark Youngke, ETV, and the Chief Technology Officer. So demo should be completed by the end of Thanksgiving timeline, so a couple weeks here, so that'll be good. And then we are going along with getting the architect, and then we'll start working with the city and everything to get that design and plan, and then hopefully construction will be completed by 2028, 2029 timeframe.
Wow.
That's it though. We're trying.
It has been a long time coming. Thank you. All right. Any city residents in favor of the request like to address council? Anyone in favor like to address? Anyone in favor? Last call. Anyone in favor? Anyone opposed to the request? Anyone opposed? Last call. Anyone opposed to the request? Rezone. Hearing none, declare public hearing closed. Council would like to consider first reading.
Make a motion for approval, Mayor.
Second motion.
Shaw moves, Bison James seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The record show first reading carries unanimous. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Helen. Number 3, RZ 25-20, Shamps Road.
RZ 25-20 at 685 Shamps Road is being brought forward by Sean Reagan as the authorized agent. This is a request to rezone a little over 34 acres from residential 6 to residential 9. It is the land bay just south of Stafford Meadows on the east side of the Shamps Road, and it directly abuts Patriot Park to the east. It is a currently heavily wooded lot. It does actually have two swaths of power line right away that go through it, which does take some of the developable area out of play for residential development purposes. It is currently zoned residential 6. This property was rezoned several years ago from agricultural conservation to residential 6. At that time, it was the intention to develop a more dense residential neighborhood. That never came to fruition. The reason that this is coming forward to council today is because the applicants are requesting this rezoning in order to facilitate development of a public charter school that serves grades 6 through 12. The contemplated development is considering a secondary school, which is not permitted in the R6 zoning district, but it can be established via conditional use review in the R9 zoning district. When we look at rezoning classification requests, we look at the 2040 comprehensive land use plan. In this case, the comprehensive land use plan designates this as a suburban development planning area. Primary goal of the suburban development planning area is to scrutinize and manage existing patterns of development where form and design are a focus. And where new development is, we should ensure land use compatibility. Rezoning this from R6 to R9, absent of whether it even becomes developed for a secondary school, is in alignment with the plan. R9 is actually a good transitional district from R6 to the agricultural district. R6 allows 6,000 square foot lots, R9 is 9,000 square foot lots, AC is 1 acre lots. So it is a good transitional zone if it were not to be used for a campus style setting. Planning staff analysis is a little bit different. Planning staff recommended that the Planning Commission consider recommending approval for this request based on the fact that it is in alignment with the 2040 plan. The R9 designation is appropriate given the property is in a transitional area between existing R6 and agricultural zoning. And the request is adjacent to the Sumter West Plan development that hosts a mix of residential densities, public amenities, and neighborhoods supporting commercial uses. With that being said, the Planning Commission did recommend a no of this request, but I am happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Any questions, Ms. Rubin?
You recommended approval? Would you go back? Staff. Planning staff recommended approval of this request.
We did, yes, in our analysis.
The planning commission recommended denial.
Yes, sir. It was the planning commission meeting had 5 members present at the meeting. One of those members was the chairman. 3 voted to deny the request. The chairman did not vote because his vote was not necessary for a tie, and 1 voted to approve the request. I can't tell you what the reasoning was, other than there was not at that time a representative available at the meeting to answer questions that a particular board member may have had. So instead of deferring action, they recommended denial of forward on to council. We do have Mr. Reagan here to speak on behalf of the request, and I do believe that there are probably people in the public here that would also like to speak.
Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Reagan, would you like to speak on behalf of the request? Sir, name and address for the record, please, sir.
Sean Reagan, address 3835 Quiet Court, Sumter, South Carolina. I'm just making a statement. We're just here tonight to seek the approval. It has gone through the Planning and Zoning Commission Board. However, we're just here to seek the approval for the 685 Deschamps from R6 to R9 at this time.
Thank you, sir. Council have any questions for that? I just got one, Ms. Reagan, I guess, charter school. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
It's an approved.
That's the vision?
Yeah, that's the vision. It's an approved charter school by one of the premier charter sponsors, which is the Charter Institute at Erskine, located in Columbia. And so on April the 23rd, 2025, we were presented or approved our charter for 6 through 12, grade 6 through 12, for a business entrepreneurship leadership program.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Reagan? Thank you, sir. Yep. Any city residents in favor of the request? like to address council? Anyone in favor? Any city residents in favor?
I'm in favor of it, I think it should happen.
Yes, ma'am. If you don't mind, can you come just for the record so we can capture it, please? Name and address, please, ma'am.
My name is Cindy Brooks Parks. I'm at 730 Kingsworth Street. Moved here 4.5 years ago, lived in North Carolina for 46 years, a resident of Sumter, born and bred, I'm a Sumterite, and I see no reason why Mr. Reagan's charter school should not be approved. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of competition, and there's nothing wrong with him trying to improve Sumter.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else in favor? Anyone else like to speak in favor? Last call in favor. Anyone opposed to the request like to address? Anyone opposed? Yes, sir. Podium, please. Name and address.
So my name is Christopher Bartholomew. My address is 3725 Mosley Drive, Stafford Meadows. I am against this school. And the reason I'm against this school is because we're talking about rezoning a scenic area, about 30 acres of scenic area, and it's part of the reason why I purchased in that community. Now, I came to this board and I addressed this board some time ago in regards to the rezoning in the building of the gas station. I was voted down, we voted to approve that. I mentioned that I was concerned about what kind of personnel they might bring about, and within I've been in that community for 6 years, and we've had our first car theft, right? And those were my concerns about building a gas station and what it could bring. Now we're talking about rezoning and tearing down 30 acres of pristine trees that makes the community beautiful and makes the community very livable for the kids and all our community members. And then we're talking about building a school that's going to create traffic, a tremendous amount of traffic in our daily commutes. I have to drive my kids to school and back every single day, in the morning and in the afternoon. And so if we're gonna build this school, it's gonna bring more traffic, it's gonna bring more strenuous daily commute for both myself and the community members. And it's not gonna improve our quality of life. And we're talking about a school that only serves 350 students. Now we're gonna serve 350 students, and we're going to increase the stress and the traffic load on the community members trying to get in and out of their community every single day. And not only that, our kids who are in the community, and if they want to use the bus route, they're waiting an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. I've seen students sit outside, waiting on the bus until 9 a.m. in the morning time. We're talking about building another school that's not designated to serve them. So I'm fervently against rezoning and building a school. It's not gonna be helpful for us in the Stafford Middle community. They rezone it and do it somewhere else, that's fine, but I just do not think it's a good spot.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else against? Anyone else against? Anyone against the request like to address council? Last call. Anyone against? Declare the public hearing closed. Ms. Rubin, this is a rezoning request going from R6 houses, 6 acre lots like you mentioned, to R9. If this project were to move forward from traffic, I guess any construction project has to be traffic studies, and what were the other details?
Schools are dealt with a little bit differently at the state level. Their traffic impacts are actually analyzed directly by SCDOT. We are working actually with DOT to try and become part of that mechanism for localized review. It will go through a major site plan review with Planning Commission, where we do evaluate traffic and all of those impacts. It is possible, depending upon the size and scale of the institution, that it could trigger the requirement for a traffic impact study. If it does, those studies also recommend mitigation measures. It could be dedicated turn lanes, it could be road widening, it could be upgrades to the signal at the intersection of the champs. It could be a variety of things. But as part of the site plan review for a major subdivision or a major future site plan, we do an analysis on traffic.
Thank you. All right. Public hearing is closed. Would council like to take any action on first reading?
Move for approval.
Second.
Gibson moves, Hasty seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show first reading carries 6-0 with Councilman Shaw recusing himself. No. Thank you. Takes us to rezoning 25-21, 20 Pack Road. First, consider first reading on that.
Would you like me to wait till Councilman Shaw comes back?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. There we go. All right.
RT 2521 is at 20 Pack Road. The applicant, Gavin Malia, he is here to speak on behalf of the request as authorized agent. This is to rezone approximately 5.1 acres from agricultural conservation to general commercial at 20 Pack Road. For those of you that are familiar with the 15 South corridor, this is the land bay that is right behind the Bojangles Chicken that's at the corner of Pack Road and 15 South. This is the property as it is today. It is a former agricultural field. I do not believe it's currently in production. It has a couple large trees in the back of it. But it is currently zoned agricultural conservation. This property was actually annexed into the city, the entire land bay, back in 2021, but at that time, no rezoning actions were taken. The applicant's requesting the rezoning in order to facilitate the development of a farm supply retail store. It includes 0.7 acres of the development site as well as 0.29 acres of a shared access drive. As I said, it was part of a larger tract that was annexed in 2021. It is in a priority commercial mixed-use node in the 2040 comprehensive plan. This is an area where we do expect a mix of residential and commercial development. This part of the property really does lend itself for commercial development. It is just east and north of an existing shopping center, and it is across the road from the Pocala Springs development. The development at the corner of Masters Drive and 15 is actually the second church campus for Alex Drive Baptist Church. So it is a little commercial node that's going on right there. So the request to rezone to general commercial is consistent with comprehensive plan. Planning Commission did recommend approval of this request. It's adjacent to existing commercial uses, and it is part of a larger land bay. It has the potential for a mixed use development. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Ma'am, any questions for Ms. Rubin? All right. Hearing none, would the applicant like to speak on the request?
Hi, I'm Gavin Melia, and I'm the applicant. We appreciate the opportunity to present to the council for this rezoning for our project. We feel that this tenant, which is Tractor Supply, is going to do a lot to serve the folks on that side of Sumter with all of the essentials that Tractor Supply sells: fencing, animal feed, workwear, and so on. And we really appreciate your consideration. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Hang tight real quick. Any questions for that? Any questions for that? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any city residents in favor of the request like to address council? Anyone in favor? Anyone in favor of the request? Last call, anyone in favor? Hearing none, any city residents opposed to the request like to address council? Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Last call, anyone opposed? Hearing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Council like to take any action?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to recommend that we approve the first reading of this 20 Pack Road.
Second motion. Hasty moves, Blasingame seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And first reading carries unanimous. All right, that picks us back up, Mr. Jennings. Back to new business, item D, procurement resolutions.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, this request is for the north side of Swan Lake, a renovation, that would be, same designer, same firm that, used for the main side of Swan Lake. There's a picture there on the board. Consists of, some fencing, brick columns, reworking the existing gates and landscaping, concrete sidewalk, some brick pavers, typical landscape flat work project to dress up and update that side along with some swings, as a viewing area for the 7 swans across the street. We did receive on October 28th 3 bids, for this project. The lowest qualified bidder was 3D Dirt Works at a total cost of $887,000. We do recommend, moving forward with the contract with this, contract. Glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Gaines? Hearing none, is there a motion to consider 1016 as presented?
Move to approve.
Second.
Hasty moves, Gibson seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? And 1016 carries unanimous. Thank you, sir. Next, the council reports. Anything they'd like to share for the good of council, or the good of the community?
Sir, on behalf of the South Central Neighborhood Association, I want to thank the council for approving that lot, 627 South Sumter Street, to be used as a community garden for children. Just want to thank you all very much.
Mr. Mayor and council, I want to take this opportunity to thank Chief Roy, Police Department, for installing cameras on Cook Street, off Green Swamp, Greenville Road. It's been a great asset to the community. The residents are very pleased to have the cameras. I'm still getting calls about the lighting in the community. And I guess I'll be saying it at every meeting, because it's one on the phone. I'll drive over there sometime at night, and it's dark. There's a lot of seniors in that area, so I hope the city would move expeditiously and get us some lighting at Cook Street, South, North Street, off of Creek Mills Road. Then I've gotten several calls from the citizens of West End about the timeline for phase 2 of the new park restroom facilities. I don't have an answer. So Mr. McCormick, is there a timeline for restrooms out there?
Yes, sir.
Come through there Sunday, I mean, you couldn't get in there. I mean, there was, I don't know what was going on, but the parking lot was full. They was having some kind of activity there.
Yes, sir. So we've got a design for this phase. We would have done it in the first phase had we had enough funding, of course. Good news is we've got funding in the penny sales tax. Bad news is or not so great news, it's gonna take 3 years to get that. So we're actively looking for private and state funding for the completion. So I can't tell you exactly when. I can tell you it'll be at least in 3 years, hopefully a whole lot faster, just when we identify the funding for it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And several of us participated in the Veterans Day parade and program. The mayor did a proclamation. It was cold. It was nice. It was nice. I think, is that Melinda back there? Melinda, yeah, I want to acknowledge Melinda Randolph. She is the daughter of the late Mayor Pro Tem, Dr. William S. Randolph and Doris Randolph, and my cousin. Thank you for being here, Melinda. It's good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Down that way? You got a teaser to come out? You want to talk about? When?
A teacher.
Teaser.
A teaser?
Lights.
Yeah, so we've got something new coming this year. We were trying to get Swan Lake open as a preview for the Christmas lights, but we got a good.
Speaking. I'll let you hear you.
Oh, I'm loud. But, we have decided that we are gonna have the back actually lit, so you can actually see what's going on, going down the side. And, so there'll be some teasers out on the highway telling you that the grand opening will be December the 1st, which we're always excited about. But hopefully the families that are here for Thanksgiving that do not get to come for Christmas will get to see our joy in our beautiful city. So, I want to appreciate the staff for working extremely hard to get this a possibility to provide this for our community. And, please come out and enjoy Fantasy Awards. And, thank the staff and, all of our community.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to acknowledge, Councilman Hasty, being named the Youth Defender of the Year of the state of South Carolina. It was a high honor. Nice, right up in there.
Yes, sir, thank you. Mr. Case?
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to mention, Jim Carter had a book signing at Patriot. I saw you there, Pastor Lasky, and many of us were there. Just a wonderful lecture, history of South Carolina. It was a great time. I also want to mention about the South Sumter Park, because these parks are closing at dusk dark. Since the time went back, dusk dark is early. And some of the children practicing football doesn't start at 5 o'clock, around 5:30 it's dark. Then all those popular turn in and the lights on for a little, they practice from 5 to 7, just 3 days a week. And we need some kind of sign that let people know, they should know, that you should be in the park after dusk dark. Chief has really done a good job of having his folks go through there and making sure folks not there. But I thought it'd be a good idea to have some type of signage out there that these parks close at dusk dark and you should not be there. Like similar to the one we got at the farmer's market. Chief has some signs there. This market is closed at this time, so you violate this, you'll be in violation of city's laws. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir, thank you. Any last call, anything else? Hearing none, city manager's report.
Just real quickly, we got the, October 31, financials here, and, please do look over those, and please ask us any questions you might have, we can get to the bottom of it. So, as those come together, and the staff, financial staff has worked quite, diligently on the, upcoming audit. So, hopefully we can get that in before the end of the year in December. We're working hand in hand with the auditor, so we'll be working to poll council exactly when they give us a date. Hopefully we can do that with a lunchtime meeting and make that review. That's all I have for now.
Yes, sir.
Gary, I wasn't at the last, city council meeting. I think they have a breakout of homes that have been demolished and stuff like that. Can I get a copy of that, the latest version?
Yes, sir.
Get a copy.
You have it right there, Howard, or we can get you a copy, I don't know if you have it or not. Okay, no worries.
We'll get a copy.
Yes, sir.
All right, that brings us to comments by our citizens. Time, read the guidelines on that. We've reached a part of the agenda for comments by our city citizens, consistent with the city codes, opportunity for our citizens of the city who signed up prior to the meeting to address council on city matters, with the exception of personnel matters. In the interest of time, and comments by any speaker limited no more than 3 minutes to avoid repetition and conserve time. There's a group of citizens, neighborhood committee, et cetera, who wish to express the same view, who advocate the same position. We actually designate 1 or 2 speakers for the entire group. In addition to this portion of the agenda, we want to emphasize citizens, and those who are not citizens can express their opinions to council using telephone, email, other info, contact info on the website. This is not intended as a question and answer session with council or the city manager. It's an opportunity for hearing from our citizens. So thank you to those signed up prior. Mr. Tony Williams, know who you are, if you come, name and address, please, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Williams. I'm a resident of 13 Dalton Court, Sumter. And I'm here to give acknowledgement. We recently had a art extravaganza at the Resource Center, so the Resource Center on Manning Avenue. And it was a high success. And what I'm here to do is to acknowledge those participants and the donors. I would like to give thanks to Ms. India Morton. She is the director and her staff for their tireless effort to make the art extravaganza a great success. It really was. The donors were Attorney John Clark and the Clark Law Firm, Attorney Calvin Hasty and the Hasty Law Firm, Attorney James Wheat and the Wheat Law Firm, and last but certainly not least, Mr. Richard Jones and the South Sumter Advocates for Culture and Economic Development. The artists were, and they were the ones that actually did the South Sumter Park, and they included was Ms. Dr. Rosetta Davis, Ms. Marie Grady, Mr. Walter McNeil, Mr. Sylvester Hickman, and last but certainly not least, Mr. Ernest Hampton and his catering service who provided the food. The performing artists are as follows. Historian Mr. George Frierson. The poet and performer was Miss Peggy Logan, and the songs were by Miss Jasmine Battle. And we'd like to thank all who participated and was in attendance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Kinley. Give him the mic. Name and address, please, ma'am.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Dr. Hyacinth Kindler, and I live on Willow Street, Sumter. I just have three thanks. One was which is some months overdue. Thank you to the team here for appointing me for a second term to the Historic Preservation Board. Something I think is very valuable in the community, as we have plenty of people that come and when they're restoring some of the historic properties in the district. And this is great honor for me to represent the community in that aspect. The second thing is, thank you if you had any part in the electronic speed sign on Willow Street. This was done a few months ago, though we still need a sign that's permanent for our speeders along that one block of Willow Street near the mall. The traffic there, especially later in the afternoon at night, they really come speeding through that area. The last thing, which is a sidebar for Councilman Hasty, the Sumter United Ministries does have someone that they can share information with. I helped a senior citizen in Sumter County, but she was in Redbrook and she has a mobile home. And they did, he had another company that did replaced her roof. So that's something that they could help you with. Thank you so very much for my time.
Thank you so much. That is all I missed, I guess. Miss Elaine Brunson, she signed up, but she spoke at the public hearings. We'll make sure she did what she's called. So that brings us to the end of our public comments. I know we do need to discuss some boards and commissions. Is there anything else, Mr. Ford?
One possible contractual matter related to a public part.
So executive session for the purposes on the screen. Chance, is there a motion to go into executive session? Davis moves, Hasty seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're in executive session. Good to go, Mark? Mark, you good? We good? All right. Motion to come out of executive session? All in favor say aye. Aye. We're in open session. Brings to the end of our agenda. Executive session was just discussion on boards and commissions and receive legal advice and contractual matters. No action to be taken. Brings to the end of the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. We stand adjourned.